1/3 of university students in Germany drop out of their degree program. In other countries, it would be unthinkable to do that. But here, a lot of students leave university after only a few semesters. So I asked myself, is there something wrong with the German university system? Is it secretly trying to sort students out? Now, the real reasons are very different from what you would expect. Now, to understand everything, first let's look at the Technical University of Munich. It's probably the most prestigious university in Germany and very well known internationally. At TUM, the dropout rates in a lot of degree programs are even crazier. In bachelor's degrees like physics, engineering or computer science, more than 70% of students drop out. In the first semester, the lecture halls are packed with a lot of people and hundreds of students are eager to study for the dream degree. But as the semester progresses, the number of students goes down and down. What's even worse, a lot of the students in these programs are forced to leave after the first or second semester. And this does not only apply to TUM. At other universities, it's also a thing. So as someone who went to TUM myself, I think I know why. Now, there is a feature that sets the German university system apart from the systems outside of Europe. At universities here, there are so-called admission-free degree programs. Most of the time, these are natural sciences like chemistry or physics. Admission-free means that everyone who meets the basic requirements, so in this case a secondary school leaving certificate like the Abitur, can study this degree program. And as you might have guessed, this leads to an extremely high number of fresh first semester students. I've seen it with my own eyes. At the Technical University of Munich, more than 1,000 people enroll in computer science every year, and the number is growing and growing. As a result, the university doesn't have enough space in a lecture hall, so they had to improvise with a video live stream and other rooms. But not all 1,000 students can graduate. This is for sure. And the German universities know that. So what they need is a way to get rid of students. As evil as it sounds, this is actually a case in most of the admission-free degree programs. So what they do is make the first exams in the semester extremely hard. They basically try everything to shock you with abstract concepts, advanced math, impossible to solve tasks in the exams, and an absolutely high workload. It's not common that the exams in the first semester have a failure rate of 80%. And if you look at the charts with the grades for those exams, yeah, you can be happy if you pass. But there is always one person with a perfect score. What a monster. In a lot of degree programs, you have to fight to stay. You have to work hard and study. Getting into a university in Germany is quite easy, but staying there is a whole other demon to conquer. Although Germany currently has a record number of new students, not all of them make it to graduation. Imagine you sitting in your first lecture at university and the professor casually says, "Okay guys, please look to your left and look to your right." After a couple of semesters, both of these people will probably not be here anymore. But it also makes sense, right? As a university, you give everybody a chance. An admission-free degree program means that all sorts of students can enroll. Even if you had bad grades in school, you can still prove your skills and work ethic at university and actually create your dream career. And only the dedicated and passionate people who are actually willing to go through the pain and suffering stay in there and actually finish. But even if you don't study in an admission-free program, the dropout numbers are still quite high, so there must be other reasons. Now I ask myself, do excessive performance requirements and a lack of motivation mean that, some students are simply not intelligent enough or too lazy to study? In the end, I believe that it has less to do with intelligence. It's more how well the first-year students are prepared for the challenges of studying at university. First-year students often don't have subject-specific knowledge. It's often the case that certain topics don't get covered in school. So once a student joins a degree program, he or she gets bombarded with new topics. And the worst thing is, from the first day, the professors expect you to know all of it. And this is particularly true in subjects such as engineering. For some students, it's too much of a challenge to catch up on what they still lack from their school days. Plus, there's also the already high demand of the course. What I found quite interesting is that the more abstract a degree program is, the less practical aspects it has, the higher the dropout rates. Examples are physics, math, and also a large number of students in philosophy drop out before graduating. But it makes kind of sense, right? The less practical it becomes, the more you don't really know what you're going to become later or what you're studying for, the more it puts people off. Students eventually realize that they can no longer identify with a field of study or they are dissatisfied with the career opportunities. It's quite normal that interests change over time and things you used to enjoy are not that fun anymore at university. Another reason for early dropout is the high subject requirements, and first-year students often completely underestimate this. happened to me before. I mean, nobody really told us in school what university is going to be like. And this explains the high dropout rate in the natural sciences, for example. It's absolutely normal to feel overwhelmed in the short term during the studies, but it's a real problem when the feeling becomes the baseline. The majority of the students don't wait for years before dropping out. Instead, many decide to drop out at an early stage. Almost half leave the university in the first 2 semesters, and just under a third in the 3rd or 4th semester. Many first-year students also choose their subject with false expectations. They think that a degree program is this colorful, happy university time with crazy good lectures and a lot of free afternoons to spend with their student friends. In many other countries, this might be the case. In Japan, for example, getting into a good university is really hard, but once you're inside, you have a pretty fun time. You have plenty of time to do part-time jobs, go out and party with your friends. But in Germany, you get brutal statistics, advanced maths, and exams. Studying is hard work. This reality shock, which often sets in during the first 3 semesters, is tough. A classic example is when someone starts studying psychology because they think, oh, psychology. You surely don't have to take math classes here. And boom, they suddenly have to do a lot of math and statistics, which they didn't expect. I also dropped out of my first degree. I used to study physics at the Technical University of Munich, and no, I didn't fail any exams. I just had completely false expectations, and more importantly, I was craving more practical application and project work. So I switched universities, and now I'm very happy with my computer science and design degree. I have made an entire video on why I dropped out, and to this day it's the most popular video on my channel. Now, a lot of people simply don't know what they want after graduating high school. In Germany, it's really common to take a lot of time to really decide what you want to do as a career. In other countries, this would be unthinkable. Imagine as a person in Japan or Korea trying to, tell your parents that you want to drop out after 3 semesters and take a gap year to really find your passion. You instantly get disowned. In Germany, education is free, and having no tuition fees makes it really attractive and also quite easy for students to drop out. If you actually were to pay a lot of tuition fees like in the US, it would be far more difficult for the university to kick you out, or far more difficult to tell your parents. As a result, here in Germany, many people take gap years, change degree programs, or pursue a completely different path like vocational training. Now, the best thing to do is to properly inform yourself about the course before enrolling. I can highly recommend you read the Modulhandbuch. It's a PDF for each degree program that explains the curriculum in detail, and visit websites like StudyCheck to look at actual reviews from students. For my first degree, I didn't do any of these things. Fresh out of high school, I just thought, oh well, I'm from Munich, so why not study in Munich? Everybody in Munich goes to TUM, the Technical University of Munich. Sounds kinda fancy. What subject did I like in school? Physics wasn't that bad. Okay, let's apply for this one. For my second degree program, I properly informed myself, and it's going pretty well so far. Don't forget to enroll in the free Germany Starter Kit course in the video description, download the free Studying in Germany guidebook, and join our huge Discord community. Love you and stay focused.